First things first, yes, I did shave my head. We're back into war mode going into the Kortex launch. But second, I want to give you a 60-day action plan to making your first $1,000 as a one-person business, as a creator, or if you're just a creative person and you have specific skills that you know you want to either build your own business around or start your own side hustle around or whatever it may be, you want to do your own work. This is how you're going to make your first $1,000 in the fastest, I don't like get rich quick shit, so the fastest relatively, and what I believe to be just the most seamless way where you don't have to waste your time on all of this other crap. You can just focus on what it takes to actually start the business and then start improving everything in the business once you're already making money and know what you're going to commit to. So to show you how simple it's going to be, here's the graphic that we're just going to break down as we go throughout this video. Now, this video is obviously for beginners who want to make their first 1,000. For the business people that are following me, and you may think $1,000 is just nothing for what you need and what you want and what your business currently makes, that's okay. But at the same time, this video for the advanced people may give you a perspective that allows you to start and build a new offer to make a lot more than $1,000 simply because you have the experience and other know-how to make it work better. Now, I know I'm already kind of dragging on and I'm very good at doing that, but I want to make this as actionable and as zero fluff as I can. So this is going to be a rather long video, but I promise that everything inside of it is going to be absolutely crucial. If you skip over one part, you're probably not going to see results. The first thing you need to understand is that if you can make $1,000, you can make $100,000. And if you can make $100,000, you probably have the knowledge and skill to make $1 million. Like Alex Hormozy says, it's a lot easier to make $1 million than it is $100,000. Most people just aim too low and don't acquire the skill and knowledge necessary. When you pursue a much larger, bigger picture goal, you're required to learn a lot more and be a lot more creative and understand the things that actually lead to the 1 million rather than the 100,000. So by focusing on 1,000, we may be shooting ourselves in the foot, but this is for educational purposes. The other thing about $1,000 is that's the hook for a lot of people in this video, is that $1,000 is very reasonable and believable to them. But if that is you, I would not limit yourself to thinking only in thousands of dollars. Think in hundreds of thousands or millions and shoot for the stars, you'll land on the moon. To do this, you don't need a large audience. You only need to learn the basics of 2 high-income skills. All of your actions compound and nothing goes to waste. If you stick with it, you will earn more than $1,000 every time you do this. Now, a disclaimer before we start is that if you clicked on this video solely because it said make $1,000 in 60 days, you're probably going to fail. And that's okay. That'll be a mistake that you can improve from or quit from altogether. That's up to you when it happens. So hopefully, if you can, it's hard to just shed beliefs, but leave the get rich quick mindset at the door, because you need to understand that if you want to be in control of how much you make and you want to be able to make $1,000 in 60 days, $50,000 in 60 days, yes, it's possible. Big businesses do it all the time. They make millions upon millions every month. If you want to do those things, you have to start a business. I don't care if you think business is a dirty word. I don't care if you don't resonate with the word business. You need a fucking business. I don't care if you want to call it a side hustle or your life's work or creative work or whatever it is. It's a fucking business. And with a business, it demands a much different character than a 9-to-5 job. You don't have a boss providing order for your life. You have to create your own schedule. You have to manage yourself. And that is a lot more of an undertaking than it sounds of just, oh, you need to manage yourself. If you're a person that likes stability and you like the comfort of 9-to-5 jobs, you probably don't realize that a business is still better because you create your own stability, the one that you like. But most entrepreneurs don't do that, and they just drown because they work 12-hour days and aren't focused and aren't prioritized, and they just don't understand what they're doing. Now, a table of contents, so you know what we're going to discuss. First, the importance of building an audience in a world of freelancers and agency owners. 2, what to talk about and what to sell. 3, the micro skill stack, how learning 2 high-income skills can set you up for a profitable future. 4, the micro offer, so how to start landing clients today without taking months to build your product or service. 5, the only 2 ways to land clients so you can focus for the next 60 days. And then last, the $1,000 challenge, exact steps to take every single day to turn this into a business. This video is a mini course, so it's long. You're going to have to add this to your watch later list. You're going to have to watch it on a walk. If you don't have an hour or so to sit down and take notes and actually do things, you're going to have to save this for later and come back to it. So do that. The first thing we need to do is set up our digital storefront. It's just like opening a physical location in your local area. You need a digital storefront. But the good thing about this, and the good thing about the digital world in general, is that it's completely accessible and it costs $0 to set up a social media profile. Your social media profile, where you're going to attract an audience or attract traffic to your storefront, is absolutely necessary. Of course, there's other ways to do things, but if you understand my philosophy, you understand that I believe that social media is where the attention is right now. You can go with the other methods of like radio advertising and print advertising and billboard advertising. And of course, there's modern ways like paid ads and whatever, but social media is the most accessible, where all of the attention is right now. So you can get customers. It doesn't cost anything. It's just seamless. And the benefits of building an audience outweigh any other method of acquiring customers. You can send 10,000 cold emails and spend $10,000 on ads, but where do the people go after that? Of course, people can join your email list and purchase your product and you have a list of buyers, but where do the people that don't purchase from your ad go? They disappear. You can remarket to them, yes, but still the point stands. By building an audience on social media, you accomplish a few things. One, you keep access to the people that follow you because they follow you. Two is it's free to start, so you don't need much skill or permission. Three, every piece of content you write warms up your audience to buy. Four, you can build new products and increase profitability, so your audience becomes something that you can resell to time and time again. Five, people follow you for you. You aren't trapped in a specific business model or skill and can pivot. Six is when your audience is large enough, you can leave client work or build that startup you've always dreamed of. You already have customers and potential candidates for your team and don't need to spend hundreds of thousands on marketing and hiring. Now with this, if you're anywhere on business social media, or if you're like me and you watch the occasional Shark Tank episode at night, you understand that people are the first thing that comes out of their mouth is build an audience, build an audience, build an audience. I've been reading Rework, or I just finished it, Rework by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier, DHH, pretty cool people on Twitter. I like them a lot. 37 Signals and all of their companies. But the world is changing. People are finally getting on board with the fact that an audience is a crucial asset for any kind of business you build. And so I just want to be brutally honest with you right now. If you are not building an audience, if you are not writing content daily, if that isn't a 30 to 60 minute practice every single morning for you, you're not really building a business. And if you don't have any money to invest in building a business another way, then your business isn't going to grow. So you can build the website, you can build the logo, you can build whatever all day long. But if you aren't building the audience, which we're not going to waste our time on the website, the logo, any of that in this video, the audience is really the only thing that matters here. Of course, your offer and your product, but your content and writing content and people following you and you prioritizing that is going to do most of the selling for you. Think of your 10 pieces of content that you post over this week as a landing page in and of itself. It's just in real time. The way of consuming and purchasing things has changed on social media. I've already done countless videos that will abolish your limiting beliefs on whether or not you can actually grow an audience, or if everyone can, or if it's just luck in the algorithm. It's not. So you need to build a storefront. But first, you need to decide what you want to teach and what you want to sell. So you need to understand what your content and your offer is going to be composed of. Now, I've taught this many times before, and what people find useful is the topic tree. So here's a graphic. The way you can think about it is you have 3 big and broad topics that allow you to maneuver within them and create a lot of subtopics and content topics underneath them. So you can fill that out in your own time if you want to, but I want to make it even simpler for the sake of this video, because we're just straight lining to $1,000 in 60 days. So how are we going to make this simpler? You are going to join the niche that you were already in. So answer these 3 questions that we're going to go over and choose 1 to 3 topics that satisfy the most of these questions. So it's like a multiple choice type deal. Question 1. What valuable content is in your search and YouTube watch history? Keyword is valuable there, because I know what else is in your search history. Go watch another video of mine of improving yourself and not being a degenerate. Question 2 is, what do the accounts you follow talk about? Do you feel like you have a similar level of knowledge? Question 3 is, if you were to buy a new book right now, what topic would it be on? Question 4 is, when you buy an educational or behavior improving product like a planner, software, or health supplement, not a new article of clothing or other necessities, what do you buy? The key to initial success in most areas of life is intelligent imitation. So we all imitate others around us as we are growing up and as we learn to navigate in the world, but a lot of the times it's not intelligent, it's not conscious, it's unconscious, and we end up in a position that we don't like. But that doesn't mean that imitating other people is not a useful survival strategy. And so if you do it consciously, intelligently, and you imitate the people that you want to become like, you're more likely to become like them. People truly overcomplicate business. They think that if everyone else is doing it, it's saturated. No, not even close. If everyone else is doing it, that means it's profitable. It means people actually want it. So your job is to do the same thing, but make it just a little bit more unique. So the software I've been building, Kortex, isn't anything revolutionary or new. It's just a bit better than the products that other people have grown tired of and aren't the best solutions for writers, creators, marketers. What I've noticed is that things like Notion, Obsidian, Tana, etc., they're very useful for their respective use cases. But a lot of the note-taking softwares, the note-taking specific softwares, they're just there for jotting down scattered ideas and having a place where things go to get lost. And they don't really serve a purpose, or they don't help you serve that purpose better specifically. What I mean by that is you have work to do, you have a job to do, and the impact or the quality of your work directly impacts your ability to survive and thrive. And so that's what we're building Kortex around. Because if your mind is the interface of anything that you do, and Kortex is your second brain to do that better and to store all of that in a way that's just ready to be distributed to other people, that's what I'm talking about. The other thing there is that even if we don't get to Notion's level, which I am actually fairly confident that we can reach in 5-10 years if we put our minds to it. The thing is that we have a fraction of the team size and costs, and we didn't take VC money, and we have the ability to pivot and move fast, especially with the technology that is available now that allows us to be a flexible small team. And even if we fail catastrophically, I think the failure landing point for something like Kortex would be at least 8 figures annual. Back to the point. Write down 1 to 3 topics you already read about. This is where your content ideas will come from. Write down 1 to 3 courses, templates, or products you've already purchased. These are the starting point of your offer that you will reposition. So in the future, soon, we're going to talk about the micro offer, and it's going to be based on teaching other people a skill or an interest or whatever it is. And so with these courses or these planners or these other things that you've bought or these books, did you know that people's coaching services are actually just their books broken down and distributed over 8 to 12 calls weekly, and they charge substantially more for the coaching service since it's one-on-one? If you have a series of blog articles, if you're able to create a course curriculum, if you're able to just map out steps to help someone achieve a specific goal, you don't need a landing page. You don't need that curriculum. You don't need any of that to start. You simply need to say, here's my price. I'm going to help you do this over 4 calls. That's all you need to do. You don't need to overcomplicate it. As you actually write and sell, only then will you have the ideas and feedback to make those things truly unique. So the topics that you chose and the potential products that you wrote down, the more you write and sell and get feedback, how you treat that information and how you iterate on it over time is going to determine the success of your business. Okay, so we have our topics and a potential thing that we want to sell. Now we need to actually create our profile, but I don't want you to focus too much on this because frankly, it just doesn't matter too much. Over the years of me helping other creatives and writers and marketers and other people with skills and interests that they want to turn into their creative work or learn how to harness and distribute and create a living out of, they focus so freaking much on like their bio or their profile picture or their banner. And usually because it's the first thing you learn. When you take a social media course or you take another course of just people telling you to get on social media, they're gonna be like, your bio is super important. You need the value proposition. You need this, you need a clear profile picture. And it's like, I agree to an extent, but at the start, that shouldn't be a blocker for you to go and start writing content and selling things. Nobody actually cares about the profile aside from the first time they go and look at it. But even then, your job isn't to really just make the best profile. People aren't going to follow you based on your profile alone. They're not following the profile, they're following the content. They're not going to your profile and being like, I'm going to open up this profile every single day for the rest of my life because I just love it so much. I need to follow this profile. No, they're following your content. Your job is to write content on a daily basis that makes people or encourages people or is so good that people follow you without even looking at your profile or paying attention to the details. Self-awareness is the greatest business hack. You've done this before. Pay attention to your own actions when you're on social media or in business in general. When you buy something, why did you buy it? Okay, you just extracted a lesson. Now implement it into your business. When you read a piece of content and follow someone, do you care about their bio? Did that cause any change in whether or not you were going to follow that person. Maybe it locked it in, but most of the time, no, it didn't. So here's just a few things that you can do. Watch 1 to 3 YouTube tutorials on how to take a headshot photo or create a profile picture, create yours along with it, and then write your bio using what we talked about earlier, your topics and the offer you want to build authority in. Now, I've done some testing for you. I always advise just going super simple route. So here's a little template. I write about topics. So topic A, topic B, topic C, and then after that, results they will get from your offer. So if my topics are productivity, writing, and self-improvement, and the thing I want to sell revolves around writing, my bio would be, I write about productivity, writing, and self-improvement. Learn to write as a high-income skill. That's all you need. You don't need to get fancy with it. You don't need to be extremely unique. If everyone that watches this video used that bio, it would still be unique. You have 4 moving pieces, and not everyone would have the same bio. And even then, that's all people are looking for when they go to visit. They're not looking to get sold or ask you to DM them or to sign up for your funnel. They're simply looking, okay, what does this guy talk about? Am I interested in it? So if you include topics in your bio that are just way too over people's heads, people don't know what they are. Think of it as if you log on to a blog site like Lifehacker or Medium, and you're immediately prompted with topics that you want to follow. You sign up for an app and it's like, what are you interested in? Use those topics because they're top of mind. It's things like psychology, self-improvement, technology, whatever people are interested in. If you use something high level and esoteric, people don't know what you're writing about. They don't know what you're talking about. They don't know you yet. They don't care about the complexity of your mind and what you have to talk about. You're simply introducing them to who you are, what you talk about, and that's just the top of the funnel. Now, as for the link in your bio, you're going to include the questionnaire instead of a landing page or a website that we discussed earlier. This will make sense. As I said, I don't want you to focus so much on the bio or the profile or the banner or whatever it is, but one thing to hold in your mind as you progress. Use this as a frame to notice potential problems and then fix them, not worry about them and stop everything you're doing until they're fixed. Does it look like your profile should have 1 million followers? If not, then you have something to improve along the way. So we have our digital storefront, and that took longer than I wanted to explain it. In short, just create a freaking profile. Now we need to talk about the micro skill stack. So the only 2 skills that you really need to focus on, and these will build on top of what we talked about last week in Master Persuasion with 4 frameworks. So go watch that because it's incredibly important for all of the content you create and really anything you create. Everything's persuasion. Now, as a reminder, in order to start making an income, you only need a few things. 1, you need a traffic source. 2, you need a product or service to sell. So the 2 skills that simplify that process are writing and sales. And if you combine the 2 together, you get persuasion, which again, we talked about. Writing is accessible. You don't need design or video experience. You don't even need to write well. You just need to write with impact. All social media content starts with writing. Yes, even video scripts. So if you know how to write persuasively, then you'll know how to speak and create videos persuasively. And you'll know how to take that writing and put it in some fancy design so you can post it on Instagram. So to go back to what I said earlier, if you aren't writing for 30 to 60 minutes a day, then your business probably is not growing. Go and ask anyone that you respect in the social media space, and they will say that they write every single day. So I don't care if you're not a writer, you are now if you're building a business. So let's talk about that. There are 2 types of social media content. The first is short post. This includes tweets, reels, shorts, TikToks, posts on Instagram, and really anything that's under 300 characters or 1 minute in length. My favorite way to write on any platform is to write a tweet, then copy paste that tweet into an image template in something like Figma or Canva. So look at my Instagram page to see what my writing looks like in image form. And no, you don't need to post anything other than writing to build an audience on any short form platform. What I mean is that you don't need to create video reels. You don't need to create anything. You don't need to take pictures of yourself. You just need to write. That's like the baseline. That's the minimalist creator. Short posts are good for staying top of mind, attracting an audience, and testing ideas. Short posts are your base. you should post at least 1 a day. On X, you can post 2 to 3 a day to test which ones you should post to other platforms to turn into a long post. So in general, the flow of content is write short form. I like X or Twitter because I can post multiple. I can see which ones do the best. I can turn that into a longer post, which we'll talk about. I can turn that, if it does well, into a newsletter. If that does well, I can turn it into a YouTube video. If that does well, I can turn it into a free download. If that does well, I can turn it into a product. If that does well, I can turn it into a new startup. And that entire thing, a tweet is the new MVP. So you can test all of your business ideas every single day, 3 times a day, and just bring it through that filter, and you'll be able to start a business just based on what does the best. So the second type of content is long posts. So short posts and long posts. This includes X threads, threads on Threads by Instagram carousels, long LinkedIn posts or carousels, or what I call micro articles that have been doing rather well recently. So here's an example of a micro article of mine. I wrote this the other day. I write this all in Kortex, and then I copy paste it over to Figma, download the actual image, and then send it out. Now, the beautiful thing about images, or just long posts in general, or these micro articles, is that if you can fit them in a 4x5 image template, you can post them anywhere. I post them on YouTube. You go to my community page, you see them there. I grow a lot from those. You go to my Instagram, it's all writing. You go to my LinkedIn, it's all writing. The thing here is that short posts are kind of like spray and pray. You just let them go and you see which ones do the best, and you take those and run with them and turn them into more content. With long posts, they're more strategic because it takes more time to create them. They're based on very good ideas that set you apart. They're based on very valuable topics, breakdowns or actionable advice or your story or just a deep thought of yours that you want to get across and be perceived well. So since you're only posting them 1 to 2 times a week, you need to be very strategic with how they get in front of other people, because longer posts like threads and micro articles and etc., they're going to hold more attention, they're going to build more trust, they're going to lead to more followers. So once or twice a week, you need a network. You need a way to get that in front of more people rather than just posting it and hoping that it does well, or somehow the magical Twitter gods or YouTube gods are going to spread it, because that's not going to happen. And even if it does, that happens to such a small fraction of people. The 1% of people that get picked up by the algorithm make it seem like anyone can. I'm not a believer in that. I'm a believer in manual effort and investment to grow your brand and business. So if you want to learn how to do that, go watch the video that I plug all the time, is how to build an audience with 0 followers. So to recap, it's write 2 to 3 short posts a day and 1 to 2 long posts a week. And you exhaust most of your traffic firepower. So your friends sharing your content, potentially paid people sharing your content, tagging people in that content to get them to retweet it, sending it to people in the DMs so that they retweet it or repost it or share it to their story or whatever it may be. And then once you get to, I would say, 50,000 followers, and I use 50,000 as a metric to know that you know what you're doing on social media and that you can grow without spending too much time on it. Once you hit 50,000 followers, then start to transfer your best posts that brought in the most followers to other platforms. And since you know what leads to growth, redo that on the other platforms. Now, you can learn about this entire process inside of Digital Economics if you want to. The link to that is in the description. But what do you actually write about inside these short posts or these long posts? So take the topics you chose earlier and do the following. Break them down into common pain points and write about how to solve them. Research other accounts' top tweets with a tool like the Tweet Hunter X sidebar and rewrite them from your own perspective. So I do this all the time. I have a sidebar. There's Super X now, if you just type that in, or there's the Tweet Hunter sidebar, which if you look that up, it's a Chrome extension and it adds a sidebar to your X. Whether or not you're on X or Twitter, this is a great way to generate content ideas. Is you just go to your favorite accounts and the sidebar shows you all of their most popular tweets. So in one view, you have all of these ideas that are pretty much proven to do extremely well if you can get the traffic kickstarted by not relying on the algorithm. Next is read books and use social media as a place to take notes, but write those notes with a hook, body, and conclusion. I love doing this. If I don't have content ideas, I pick up a book. I have one right here. I'm reading The Systems View of Life. And when I come across something, I'm like, I could turn that into a post. And so I do. And I take my notes and I reword it with a hook, body, conclusion, so it's in my own words. Then next is you can go to your favorite YouTube channels and filter their videos by most popular. Then use their titles as starting points for your hooks and posts. Now, start writing. We've made it this far and we've learned how to create a profile and how to write content, or at least how to start writing content. So that's what you need for traffic, right? right? Now you have traffic. Now you need product and offer. So you need to first understand the sales process. That's the second skill you need to at least understand. Sales is storytelling. You are showing someone where they can be, making them aware of the pain points of their current situation, and offering them a path to get from point A to point B. Pain point, desired outcome, path to get there, preferably your unique way of doing it. That's what sales is. That's what content is. That's what a landing page is. That's what all good and persuasive anything is. And this isn't just a lesson on sales, but in persuasion in general, in writing and articulate speaking. So if you want more of that, again, go watch the Master Persuasion with 4 Frameworks video that I posted. Practice sales in every situation you are in, writing, conversations, and when attempting to earn an income. We aren't going to go deep into the process of something like a sales call because in all honesty, you don't need to worry about it. As a creator, 90% of your selling is done through content, making people aware of their problems and pain points, giving them solutions to test and experiment with, illustrating their future life so they have a desired outcome. The thing with this is, if you want to make this more practical, because most people they still don't know how to write content. It's like, okay, make a list of pain points that you can help people solve or that you've had in your life. List solutions or desired outcomes of people's lives. What are goals that people want to achieve? Now, from those alone, from those ideas, go to Twitter, go to Instagram, go to whatever, scroll until you see a post that has done relatively well. Look at the writing. How is it written? Use that as a template and plug one of the ideas into it. So go to my page, go look at one of my top posts, and then from there, take that structure and plug your pain point into it and try to rewrite it in a way that is standalone and from your idea. Now we're getting into the meat of things. So the micro offer. How do we create a micro offer? What is a micro offer? A micro offer is a service where you don't need anything built yet. All you need is a social media profile as your public resume, content that displays your authority by illustrating problems and giving solutions, aka giving value, the ability to message people that like, comment, share, or DM you asking questions about your posts, and a questionnaire for people to fill out if you don't message them first so they can show interest. A micro offer is a way of testing what you should turn into a full-fledged product or service before you spend time doing so. The best way to create a micro offer is simple. You offer a pack of 4 weekly one-to-one sessions for $1,000. Now this does a few things. $1,000 is a solid price. If people pay for it, it means others will pay $3,000 to $10,000 for a more fleshed out offer depending on your target audience. Entrepreneurs and business owners often don't flinch at such high price tags. $1,000 is something most people can afford if they really want to. Don't let limiting beliefs and your lack of experience take over right now. That's just one major thing that I had to overcome when I was first an underpaid freelancer is I got into it and I was used to working part-time jobs. All I knew was making $400 to $600 a month and living with 7 other dudes and us trying to skimp on rent. That's where my mindset was. I didn't even know, like, if I thought about it, maybe I would come to this conclusion, but I didn't even know like a freelancer could make $10,000 a month. That's just absurd to me. I didn't know that a creator could make $100,000 to $500,000 to $1 million a month. That was just absolutely absurd to me, but it can happen, and you can only achieve that thing once you actually believe that it's possible. So a lot of the reason I would argue that 99% of people fail in making money in the creator economy is because they just have such a bad relationship with money and their mind matches their situation, and they haven't expanded their mind to something greater than that so they can grow into it. So now, after the $1,000 price tag, you have 4 weekly calls. 4 weekly calls is enough time to get results for your client. Only a few people can benefit from you doing the work for them, so freelance work. Anyone can benefit from you teaching them over a call or a session. You can call this coaching or consulting if you want to, but I would actually stay away from calling yourself a coach or a consultant or a freelancer. Just offer the desired outcome and solve the pain point. If you're pitching something, you don't say, reach out to me, I'm Coach Dan, I have a coaching offer. You say, no, I solve this problem to get this solution. That's much more compelling and it's a lot less scammy. Last is you can identify what should go into a full product or service after selling a few of these. Now, what do you include on the 4 calls? So here's a framework. We need a starting point for this. We need to map these things out so what you go over on the calls is going to be effective and you know what you're doing and you actually get results. So step 1 is to just identify a big problem or pain point that you are solving. So relating to one of the main topics that you're writing about or just the idea that you decided to go with in terms of like if you want to do a productivity sessions, then do that. But you need a big problem. So it doesn't really matter what the topic is right now. It matters what problem are you going to solve. And it helps if you can dig into personal experience and remember where you were maybe 5 years ago, what your mindset was, what problem you were dealing with compared to where you are now, and why where you are now is better. So you can find this problem in a few ways. First is writing content about different problems and seeing which gets the most engagement. 2 is researching YouTube videos about the topic, seeing which ones get a lot of views, and watching the video to identify the problem they are targeting in that video. All content targets a problem. Even if they don't state the problem at the beginning of the video or in the video itself, you can imply if there's a desired outcome or a goal or it's teaching something, what problem is it helping solve? And then last is following social media accounts that talk about the topic and seeing which of their problem related posts do best. So if you go on my social media, you can probably see in most of my posts that you can imply that I'm making people aware of pain points and helping people overcome them. Big problems should fall under the health, wealth, and relationships eternal markets. Your job is to target one of them and position your interest around it. If my interest is productivity, a big problem is not having the time or energy to make their spouse feel loved, relationships, and make progress in their career, wealth. You can dig deeper by illustrating what those problems lead to in people's lives. In this case, their relationship can grow stale and boring, causing unnecessary stress and little problems that stack up into mental chaos. The better you can illustrate what's happening in someone's life, the better. And as you're creating this stuff, use all of this for content. Now, if my interest is programming or writing, a big problem is not having a skill set that allows you to make more money. You slowly get prodded along by the school system into a career that isn't relevant to your skill stack. The past saps your energy to do more with your life and ties you down with responsibilities. Notice how I'm not only illustrating the problem, but I'm amplifying it. And that's important. That's probably the most important part of your content, your emails, your landing pages, your DMs, whatever it may be, is showing people how the problem is actually a problem in their life. Because you can state the problem. You can be like, oh, you're addicted to your phone. I could say that right now. Is it going to make you stop? Now, what if I bring up the examples of how it drains your energy, how that impacts how you move in the world, how that impacts your ability to focus, how that impacts your ability to build a future that you actually want to live, how it just leads to you sitting there and rotting away if it goes unchecked. Now, the deeper I go, and if I hit the right button on you, that's going to make you want to buy from me. If I actually have a solution with proof and that actually works and helps. Because yeah, you can go and search for a solution for the next 10, 20, 40 hours to try and piece something together yourself. But if I offer you something that's worth paying for and you don't have a bad relationship with money, I buy things all the time simply because I just want the convenience of learning about that thing or having that thing. It's like, it's okay to spend money. I spend money every day. So do you, I'm assuming. Now, step 2, once you have the big problem, is to illustrate a desired lifestyle. What is the opposite of the problem? What is the goal they want to achieve? What does their life look like once they've reached that goal? Write down 3 aspects of their ideal day. For something like productivity, that could be wake up and do work you enjoy, stop feeling tired and groggy after noon so you can get work done, sleep well knowing you don't have a list of spillover tasks that cause stress. And you can map out more of those if you'd like, but we're going to move on to step 3, which is creating your own unique process, because this is what you're going to use in your micro offer, or really anything, in a newsletter, in a landing page, in a course, in a coaching service, and whatever it is. But over the course of the 4 calls that you offer for your micro offer, you're going to go through a unique process. You're going to have these step-by-step things that you're going to break down and include in the calls to teach and educate and provide actionable homework and worksheets and projects for people to work on. You need your own unique process or system that you can continue improving. For my 2-hour writer course, it's the 3-point content ecosystem. So how do you come up with this? First is write out every step someone needs to take to get from step 1, the big problem or where they are now, to step 2, their desired lifestyle. 2 is look over the steps and polish them up a bit. Create a system that you believe will work for people you help. I also talk about doing this to just bring clarity to your own days. So think of it from this lens. Think of it as I'm planning an entire week of my day. I write down exactly what I'm going to do for my morning routine, what I'm going to do in the afternoon. I just create the schedule, right? And then I move things around. I'm like, this could be better. This could be better. And then as I actually go and do those things every single week, I start to notice problems. And I'm like, oh, I don't like doing that at that time. Okay, I'm going to exchange it for this. And then slowly you improve this weekly system over time until it's just perfect for you and you're very productive. You're achieving the goals you want to achieve. It's very similar to that. That's how you're creating a unique process over time. So step 3 is to slap a compelling name on that process. This is what sparks desire in your potential customers. I've created so many names that have led to the audience I have today, like the 1-person business, the 4-hour workday, the mastery method, and more. I practice naming things by doing it in most of my content. This one is the micro creator or the minimalist creator. I brainstormed these things beforehand. So let's not make it any more complicated than that. Now, with all of this, I'm going to include a template that you can fill out. It's going to be in Kortex. So Kortex isn't fully released to the public yet, but you can come back to this video once you personally have access, or you can sign up for the waitlist. But there will be a template down there for you to view and duplicate to your workspace if that's something you want to do. And what I mean by that is everything that we've talked about in this video. So mapping out your brand, content topics, micro offer, etc., all in one place so you have it saved for later. Over your 4 sessions with your clients, you're going to split the steps you wrote down to be manageable within those 4 sessions. As a bonus, you can create a project for your client to work on that guides them through those steps, like a productivity planner, fitness program, writing a newsletter, or programming a small app, or something like the template I'm giving you that I just talked about in the description of this video. That's your entire offer. The problem you solve, the desired outcome, and a unique process to bridge the gap. As you work with people, your focus should be on improving your offer and collecting testimonials. Now, we need to actually understand we have traffic, we have an offer. Now, how do we get people from one to the other? The first thing we're going to do is create a qualifying questionnaire. This is a replacement for a landing page or a website. It's a lot easier to build than those 2 things, and it does the same job because most of your clients will come from content, and we'll talk about how to DM people, how to close in those DMs, etc. But we need a questionnaire or somewhere to send people to have a link to it in our bio and in the content that we write. You're going to be promoting this almost every day under one of your content pieces so people can click on it, fill it out, and then once they fill it out, you can reach out to them, see if they have any questions, send the payment link, etc. So for now, you're going to sign up for a form software like Jotform or Typeform or Google Forms. Google Forms is free and it's well known. You might as well just use that. Put the name of the form as just work with me one-on-one, and then put the description of the form as implement your unique process so you can reach desired outcome. You list your offer there in 1 to 2 sentences. What is it? What's your unique process? What's the problem you solve? What's the desired outcome? Now, include these questions. First is just the name. 2 is email. 3 is social media handle, so you can reach out to them. 4 is what are your biggest struggles? For this, have multiple choice answers relevant to your topic and offer. 5 is where do you want to be 30 days from now? Again, have multiple choice answers. 6 is this is not a free service. Are you serious about working together to achieve the desired outcome? This is yes or no. So it's short, sweet, to the point. Question 4 makes the prospect aware of their problem. Question 5 sparks the desire to change. Question 6 plants the idea of payment in their head. You are going to be plugging this questionnaire under your content and in your bio link. But what do we do after? And how do we land clients that don't fill out the questionnaire? So now we need to talk about the art of the DM, or the direct message, the absolute blessing that we have access to on social media, except YouTube. YouTube doesn't have the DMs, so you're not going to be doing this on YouTube. But if you want to do this on YouTube, then you create content around the pain points, the problems. You pitch your offer. You say, hey, if you want this benefit, go fill out this questionnaire. You have the questionnaire in the description. They fill out the questionnaire. You email them and you set up, or you talk things through there. You do what we're going to talk about. So when you start watching online business tutorials, you're usually always met with the advice to start cold emailing or start cold DMing people with a skill that you barely have any experience in. I'm assuming that we have some kind of experience in this. Now, we need to DM people that already like you, want to talk with you, and are potential candidates for your offer. This is what's different about business tutorials right now on YouTube. And this one is that you're building an audience and you're doing this from a content focused. You're only reaching out to people that engage with your content. You're not cold emailing or cold DMing. You're reaching out to people who know you and already see you as an authority. That increases your chances of actually succeeding by a lot. That's another bonus of having an audience, is that people actually trust you because it's not just a paid ad showing up that's trying to sell them immediately on something. So who do you direct message? First, people who comment on posts that are relevant to your offer, people who repost or share your posts that are relevant to your offer, people who DM you first asking questions or just saying hi, and people who fill out your qualifying questionnaire. So before we understand what to say in the DMs, let's understand just the concept of magnetic content. Magnetic content is short or long posts that are written on pain points, benefits, the ideal lifestyle, quick tips, personal takes on common advice, rewrites of high-performing content from other accounts, and actionable steps to overcome pain points, all relating to your offer. Once you have your offer in place, writing content around it should be relatively simple. The people who comment or share these posts are people expressing interest in that topic. They are perfect to reach out to on a warm note. They already know you and see you with some bit of authority. So now, what do we actually say in the direct message? First is just pick up the conversation where it left off. So it can leave off in two places, either the comment section or from your questionnaire. So if they commented on or shared one of your posts, send them the link to the post and respond to the comment in their DMs. If you're DMing them after they submitted the questionnaire, your job is to briefly walk them through all of your questionnaire questions again. Start with, hey name, I saw you submitted the form to work with me. Can you tell me more about why you filled it out? What are you looking to get out of working with me? Step 2 is to ask them how their endeavors are going, because you need to understand what they're working towards and what they're struggling with. This is the way to start talking about that. It also makes the potential customer aware of a potential problem that they have or a blocker that they have. So for something like fitness, you ask, how's the weight loss journey going? Is there anything I can help with? This both reminds them of their desired lifestyle and makes them aware of their sticking points. Now, if you're replying to the questionnaire that they submitted, ask them what they've done or what they're doing to fix the pain points that they listed in the questionnaire. Step 3 is to give them novel advice and mention your offer. So by now, you know if you can help them or not. Start off with some free value and education. This proves your authority. Give them advice for what they said in step 2 and try to make it non-basic. For something like fitness or productivity, telling them to drink water is going to make them think you aren't worth working with. Prove you know your shit. Now at the end of that message, mention, I actually offer a pack of 4 sessions to help with this. I help you implement your unique process, which is just a fancy way of saying I make it a bit easier to reach the desired outcome. The total cost is on par with a good personal trainer, $1,000 for the 4 sessions. Now, if you're replying to their questionnaire, exchange that last paragraph for explaining how next steps for your offer work. You can mention that if they're interested, you will send what you will talk about in each session, how they will schedule calls, the projects they will work on, and the invoice along with it for $1,000. And yes, just state the price in the message. Step 4 is to just handle objections and then send the invoice. Now, I am not a sales expert. I'm actually fairly bad at sales, but I am good at sales because I'm good at content and I'm good at giving education and value to make people trust me. Right? I don't do much objection handling. I haven't studied it at all. When people ask me certain questions like, oh, can I talk to my wife about it? Or can I give you an answer in 7 days from now? I don't push back. I'm not the guy that's going to like move the situation and be like, oh, well, like I don't even know the questions that people ask to like save the sale. I'm usually just like, yeah, no problem. And things tend to work out. If they do that, it's not the end of the world. Now with this, a sales call can help, but it's really not necessary, especially if you write content and people trust you and people have already been through 4 sales calls with you because they've been following you for a month. Your sales calls being the content that you write. Now the thing with this is you'll probably get quite a few no's at the start, and that's okay. That's just how you get into business, is failure. But remember that we're aiming for $1,000 in 60 days. That's the title of the video. 60 days is a long time, and more, like I feel like anyone can do this. I would actually guarantee anyone can do this if they actually do it for 60 days and they aren't stupid when it comes to repeating themselves. If something doesn't work and you don't improve it, then it's going to continue to not work. So once you're done answering their questions at the end of your conversation, you send the information and you send the Stripe or PayPal invoice, and then they either pay it or they don't, and you move on and you continue reaching out to people. So with this, let's go over the 60-day action plan to actually make this work. You're going to feel confused and overwhelmed. That's just how it is when you're learning something new. Your mind is struggling to expand and grow, like how you get sore after lifting weights. Most of your results are going to come after day 30. If you haven't achieved anything worthwhile, you may not have realized that there is a natural filter for people who aren't serious about doing this. I had to post 80 YouTube videos before one went viral, and I actually felt like my YouTube was growing. With all things worth having, nothing happens, then everything happens. You feel like you're not making any progress, then your experience accumulates and compounds into one person saying yes. Now, here's what to focus on. Whether you get immediate results or not, some will, Stop being a dopamine junkie and give yourself the full 60 days to make your first $1,000. Step 1 is create a profile and stop worrying about it. No, changing your bio isn't going to help you magically make $10,000 a month. Create your profile and forget about it. Step 2 is write 3 to 5 short posts a day. Normally, I advise 1 to 2 short posts a day because that's what I do. At least that's what I do now. It's not what I did. I wrote more. You may think 1 to 2 posts is easier, but it's not, because ideas beget ideas. By writing more, you have more ideas. You learn more, and you feel as if you're making more progress. So here's what to do. Start building a swipe file of others' content you love and want to recreate. Save good tweets, posts, videos, etc. Jot down ideas as you consume content, podcasts, books, or have conversations. And last, write about struggles, solutions, how-tos, breakdowns, commentary on advice you disagree with, and more relating to your offer. And now I use Kortex for all of this. I briefly went over it towards the end of last week's video in the Master Persuasion with 4 frameworks. The second half of that is just me going over Kortex, but there will be more tutorials coming about that on how to build your second brain, how to be a minimalist writer, and a bunch of fun templates and things like that. In the meantime, it may not be open for you yet. If you want to, this just came to mind, go to community.kortex, Kortex.co, so .co, community.kortex.co, and that will be our free community. Right now, there is a paid portion of the community, and the free community is not free yet, but it will be free, and there will be a free Second Brain course inside of there along with a Kortex forum. Back to the topic. Every day, remember to go through your comments and repost to DM people. Every day or every other day, include a link and call to action to your questionnaire to have more interested people to DM. Now, step 3 is to write 1 to 2 long posts a week, because the longer you hold attention, the more people trust you and the more value you can deliver. This is why I write such long newsletters and create such long videos. People don't need another reason to take my courses or to try Kortex when it's out. Now, newsletters aren't a part of this micro creator workflow, but inside of 2 Hour Writer, I teach short posts, long posts, and newsletters, the 3-point content ecosystem and how it all interacts. So if you want to check that out, the link's in the description. Now for long posts, you're doing a similar thing. Take your best posts or other best ideas and expand on them in a thread, micro article, or long post. Use the extra space to give away extra secrets. So try to include at least one thing that isn't common advice or knowledge. Third is plug your questionnaire at the bottom of each one. So every time you write a long post or a thread or a carousel or whatever it may be, you want to plug. You want to have your questionnaire at the end of it. And when you promote it, when you promote anything, you're using persuasion. You can go watch the persuasion video, or you can talk about the problem. So you can say, here's the problem, here's the solution, here's my unique offer, fill this out. Now, step 4 is to get eyes on your posts. We didn't talk about this much in this video because I can't shut up about it in other videos, but the algorithm probably isn't going to make you an overnight success. Most people don't realize that social media growth comes from manual effort and skill. Once you do realize that, you no longer see it as a game of luck for popular people. And the other thing here is that you just don't need a large audience. You need 1,000 true fans. Yes, I have a large audience, and I can say, oh, you don't need a large audience. What I'm trying to say is that even with a small audience, there are plenty of small audiences that make $100,000, $500,000, $1 million a year. But in order to get traffic to your offer without relying on the algorithm, you need to reply to big and small accounts. You need to DM people to make friends with them and grow together. You need to write threads and tag other people so they have a reason to repost your content. Now you can learn how I do all of these things in the How to Build an Audience with 0 Followers video. Anyone who tells you you don't need to do those things are probably just going to give you a method for being inauthentic and catering to the algorithm. People like to say, oh, you shouldn't pay for growth. You shouldn't join an engagement group. And they're like, if you want to meet smaller accounts, comment on my post. And so they're turning their post into an engagement channel so that they can grow quite a bit, knowing very well that the smaller accounts that are commenting under that engagement farm post aren't getting anything from it. Just take matters into your own hands. Make friends, call it an engagement group if you want, share each other's stuff. That's what you do. When you go to school, you work with people on the homework. You build projects together. You have business partners. You have people that are strategizing. You have a marketing guy who's going to help you grow. So step 5 is to map out your micro offer. You don't need a solidified product or service yet. You simply need something that 1, you're above average at, and 2, helps people solve a tangible problem in their life. So think about what you're good at. Do other people want to learn that thing? Are they already learning about it? Is there an industry built around it? Do you follow people who make a living off of it? Great, you have everything you need to build $1 million company. That's not a joke. You are living through an active tutorial in how people make money if you are following these people that are already doing it. It's a tutorial. You're looking at them from the lens of a consumer. You're like, oh my God, this information is great. But look at them from the lens of a researcher and someone who wants to build a business, and everything they do is a tutorial that you can implement into your business. And with that, it's like you're watching this right now. I don't write my newsletters or create my videos just because like I want to. They make money. They're a part of the business. Now, of course, I like doing this over some other kind of business, so that's why I choose to do the YouTube video or something else, or else I would go do something else. I'm just saying you're watching money flow right now. Every piece of content you read, landing page you go to, email you read, book you read, etc. has money attached to it. You aren't making money because you aren't creating and selling those things. All you need right now is a pack of 4 calls for $1,000 to teach someone something that will benefit their lives. Fitness, a skill, nutrition, programming, etc., etc., etc. Pick something and offer to help people with it. Once you start getting results and know what people want, invest more time into building a quote-unquote real business. Step number 6 is to send 30 DMs a week. Now this sounds like a high number, but it's extremely low and borderline pathetic. Freelancers and agency owners who send thousands of cold emails a month would laugh in your face if you complained about sending 30 messages a week. But 30 DMs multiplied by 8 weeks equals 210 DMs. You need less than 0.5% of people you reach out to say yes to a $1,000 offer. That's more than possible. But what you may not understand is that even if you only land 1 client, you've built a massive network. You have direct connections with 210 people. You've probably grown by a few hundred. Around 1,000 people will understand your expertise, each of them knowing 50 to 500 more people they can tell about you. The longer you stick with this, the more people say yes, the more your audience grows, and soon enough you'll have people popping out of the sky to work with you. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Check out the courses in the description. Check out Kortex. Join the waitlist. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. Thank you again for watching. Bye.